The Iron Court of Varkalon Prime. The Iron Court of Varkalon Prime towered above the smog-choked skyline, its obsidian spires piercing the planet's poisoned sky like a declaration of dominance. Inside, the air was cold and sterile, a perfect match for the hearts of those who ruled the Galactic Empire. General Dana Reaves stood alone at the center of the Hall of Conquest, flanked by towering warlords and emissaries from a dozen species, most of whom looked at her the way a predator sizes up a small, unfamiliar animal. Humanity had only recently clawed its way into galactic relevance, and Dana was its first emissary general. She wore her black Earth Confederation uniform like armor, the single crimson bar on her shoulder denoting not just her rank, but the weight of billions of lives she represented. Across the chamber, General Zarnax Korvax lounged on a throne-like slab of metal, a mountain of scaled flesh and arrogance. He wore a ceremonial warplate etched with the names of conquered species. His four golden eyes fixed on Dana with obvious contempt. "She's the one you send?" Zarnax's voice boomed through the chamber, translated and amplified. "A human and a female. This is your emissary." Dana didn't flinch. "I speak for Earth. Gender has no bearing on capability. Perhaps in your empire, weakness wears medals. On Earth, we earn them." Murmurs rippled through the audience. A few counselors stifled amusement. Others turned away, offended. Zarnax rose slowly, each movement like a tectonic shift. "We brought you here as courtesy. The Empire has tolerated your species long enough. You will surrender mineral rights in the Veltar corridor or face extermination." Dana took a single step forward. "Earth doesn't surrender to bullies." The words hung in the air like the calm before a meteor storm. Zarnax's hand moved fast for a creature his size. A blur of armored claws whipped across the space between them. Slap! The sound echoed, sharp and final. Dana's head turned slightly with the blow, a trickle of blood forming at the corner of her lip. The room fell silent. Even the breathing of the armored guards halted. 3 seconds passed. In the first, Dana's eyes narrowed. In the second, her left hand caught Zarnax's extended wrist, fingers wrapping around his massive forearm with surgical precision. In the third, Zarnax screamed. His massive body twisted unnaturally as Dana pivoted her hips, dislocating his shoulder with a sickening pop. Her palm struck his chest in a controlled burst, sending him flying backward with such force his armor cracked. He hit the ground hard, gasping, clutching his ribs. All this in 3 seconds. Silence again. Only Zarnax's wheezing broke it. Dana adjusted her collar, wiped the blood from her lip, and calmly walked over to where he lay. She crouched beside him. "Now," she said evenly, "you will apologize. And you will do so while still able to speak." Gasps rose from the assembly. Several guards took a step forward, unsure whether to intervene. The Emperor himself, Zarkthul, a skeletal, ancient being wreathed in golden neural filaments, raised a single bony hand. The guards froze. "Fascinating," the Emperor rasped, eyes burning with curiosity. "Human, you have violated our diplomatic protocol, and yet I find myself intrigued." Dana stood, staring down at Zarnax as he whimpered. He struck a representative of a sovereign species. Protocol was already violated. The Emperor's wrinkled mouth twitched, something between a smirk and a snarl. "Come," he said to her. "Join me in the war chamber. I wish to understand how your species produced you." Dana glanced once more at Zarnax, then turned and followed the Emperor without a word. Her boots echoed across the silent hall like the footsteps of fate. Behind her, Zarnax still moaned, broken and humiliated. 3 seconds had changed everything. The 3 seconds. The war chamber of Varkalon Prime was unlike anything Dana Reaves had seen. A spherical arena suspended in gravitic stasis. Its walls shimmered with holographic war maps, genetic databases, and archived battle simulations spanning 10 millennia. It pulsed with the raw ambition of an empire that had never truly lost a war. At its center, Emperor Zarkthul stood motionless, arms clasped behind his back. He radiated an eerie calm, the stillness of someone who had watched galaxies rise and fall. "You move like a soldier bred for battle," he said without turning. "But Earth, last we checked, was barely spacefaring when the Krell encountered you. And now here you are, curious." Dana remained silent, her stance at ease but alert. She wasn't here for flattery. She was here to ensure Earth's survival. "You broke Zarnax's arm, collapsed his lung, and disabled his exosuit in under 3 seconds, Zarkthal said. "I've reviewed the surveillance." "Remarkable." Dana nodded. His mistake was thinking strength comes from size. It doesn't. It comes from precision and discipline. The Emperor's thin lips curled faintly. "Tell me about these 3 seconds." Dana sighed, then spoke plainly. "The first second, I saw the strike coming." His movement was heavy, telegraphed. Easy to read. My neural implants accelerated perception and reaction time. Earth-developed tech. Still classified. Zarkthal's eyes gleamed. "Implants. Your species has barely entered neural mesh warfare." "On paper," Dana said. "Reality is different. We've adapted because we had to. When the Martian incursion began, we were outgunned, outnumbered, outmaneuvered. We didn't survive by fighting fair." She stepped toward the center of the chamber. "The second, I caught his wrist. Simple joint manipulation. He wore ceremonial armor, not tactical. His weight worked against him. The third," the Emperor asked. "I ended it." She didn't elaborate. She didn't need to. Zarkthal gestured, and the chamber shifted. Holograms projecting scenes from Earth's wars. The Ashen War, the orbital siege of Europa, the Reaver uprising in the Antarctic domes. "Your people bleed often," he mused. "We bleed," Dana said, "but we don't break. That's the part your empire doesn't understand. You've grown used to crushing resistance with fear and firepower. You've forgotten how to fight something that refuses to stay down." The Emperor turned to her at last, his withered frame shrouded in a robe of living silk. "You are unlike the others," he said. "Even the most dangerous species, Krell, Vorax, Sitari, follow rules of war. Protocol, tradition. But humans," he stepped closer, "you bite, even when cornered, even when defeated." Dana didn't blink. "Because we've been cornered. We know what it's like to be prey." There was a long silence between them, not hostile, but thoughtful. Finally, Zarkthal spoke again. "I've ruled for 4,000 years. I've seen empires rise from nothing. But I have not seen this." He gestured toward her. "A warrior born from desperation, from fire, from extinction." Dana's voice was steady. "You've never fought a species that has had to earn every breath." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "Do you believe humanity is ready for this galaxy?" Dana met his gaze. "I don't believe we have a choice. Ready or not, we're here. And if anyone underestimates us, if they think slapping a human general in front of a council will earn them submission, they're going to learn the hard way." Zarkthal smiled, not kindly, but with respect. "Then perhaps a test is in order," he said. The floor beneath them shifted, reconfiguring into a combat simulation ring. Mechanical arms emerged from the walls, loading weapons, setting environmental parameters, scanning Dana's vitals. Zarkthal's voice echoed as lights dimmed and gravity recalibrated. "You will face 3 trials. Mind, strategy, and strength. Succeed, and Earth earns independence. Fail, and you confirm what many already believe, that your strength is a fluke." Dana's muscles tensed. Her pulse slowed. She'd trained for worse. "Bring it," she said. "The price of underestimation." The chamber shifted again. Holographic walls faded into a new environment, an endless obsidian plain under a red sky. Simulation drones buzzed overhead. The temperature dropped. Gravity spiked. Dana felt the weight of Varkalon Prime bear down on her like a dare. Emperor Zarkthal's voice rang out, amplified by unseen speakers. First trial mind. Before Dana could adjust, the world around her shimmered and disappeared. She was standing on a metal platform, surrounded by nothingness. A presence slithered into her awareness like oil through cloth. The Krell Mind Flayer, a floating mass of sinew, brain tissue, and twitching neural appendages materialized across from her. No voice, just thoughts, dark, probing, invasive. Your mind is soft, human. Show me your secrets. Your fears. Dana gritted her teeth. Her neural defenses, trained through years of combat exposure and trauma conditioning, snapped into place. Her vision flickered, and the Mind Flayer's psychic projections appeared, images meant to break her. The Martian War. Her squad, dead in the snow near the Europa outpost. Her sister, burned alive in the orbital bombardment. The pain was real, the sorrow raw. But Dana had learned long ago how to weaponize pain. "You're not the first thing to try and crawl inside my head," she whispered, eyes narrowing. Then she did something the Mind Flayer didn't expect. She laughed. It was a dry, bitter sound. "Here's something you don't know about humans," she said. "We don't run from fear. We live with it. Every day. Try digging deeper. See what's waiting for you." She pushed back. A sudden wave of mental force slammed into the Mind Flayer. Dana unleashed memories like psychic shrapnel, grief, rage, defiance, all honed into a mental spear. The creature shrieked. Its form fractured. The illusion shattered. Trial 1 complete. The room reassembled into a war table surrounded by holographic star systems. Zark Thull's voice returned. Second trial, strategy. An automated voice outlined the scenario. Imperial fleet en route to neutral world. Objective, defend with limited forces. Resources, 3 cruisers, 10 corvettes, ground garrison. Enemy strength, superior. Time, 90 seconds to deploy strategy. Dana's mind raced. The simulation was designed for traditional command structures, fleet-on-fleet engagement. She rejected it instantly. Instead, she went asymmetric. She deployed the corvettes in stealth formation, cloaked against the asteroid belts. Her cruisers? She rigged 2 with decoy signals and sent them in opposite directions, scattering enemy formations. The third she buried in the planet's magnetic field, powered down, silent. Then she waited. The Imperial fleet arrived. Predictably, it spread out to chase the decoys. That's when Dana struck. The corvettes, hidden in the belt, flanked their rear and severed the command line. The buried cruiser rose from the magnetosphere and fired a focused EMP burst, disabling 6 enemy ships. She never fired a full salvo. She never showed her full hand. The enemy surrendered within minutes. Trial 2 complete. Zark Thull's voice held no amusement now, only interest. "You fight like prey that learn to kill," he said. Final trial, strength. The lights cut out. When they returned, Dana stood in a circular pit. Across from her, the Urzak brute descended, 12 feet of muscle and bone armor. Born in gravity wells, twice Earth's. Battle-scarred, nearly feral, he snarled and charged. Dana didn't meet force with force. She sidestepped at the last instant, redirecting his weight. He slammed into the wall, leaving cracks. Before he could turn, she drove her elbow into his spinal ridge, then rolled clear. He roared and spun, catching her with a glancing blow that sent her skidding. She rolled her feet, blood in her mouth, heart steady. Then she changed tactics, short bursts of movement, joint attacks, precision strikes. She used the environment, led him under a hanging beam, and dropped it on his leg. Finally, when he lunged a final time, she vaulted onto his back, wrapped her arm around his neck, and applied a neural pressure hold. The Urzak slumped. Dana stood over him, breath steady, chest rising and falling. Trial 3 complete. The arena dissolved. Zark Thull stood across from her once more. This time, the quiet around them wasn't dismissive, it was reverent. And then, from the shadows, came a bitter voice. "You cheated, General Zarnax." His face still bruised. One arm limp, he lunged with a plasma dagger. Dana turned too slow, her focus still on the trial. But the blade never reached her. A skeletal hand seized Zarnax by the throat. Zark fell. His voice was quiet. "You already lost, General. And now, you're no longer one of us." With a flick, Zarnax was hurled to the floor, unconscious. Dana stood in silence. Then Zark Thull turned to her. "You have earned something today," he said. "But the galaxy is watching. You made enemies and allies." Dana met his gaze. I didn't come to be liked. I came to be respected. A seat at the table. The chamber's high walls no longer loomed over General Dana Reaves. They stood like sentinels, acknowledging her presence rather than belittling it. Word of her victory in the 3 trials had already spread across the Varkalon Citadel, and likely far beyond. The Galactic Empire, infamous for its brutal meritocracy, respected only one currency: strength. Now she had earned theirs. The Grand Council had reconvened. 12 High Lords representing the Empire's core species sat in crescent formation atop gilded thrones. Their armor glinted beneath the cold light, but none spoke. All eyes turned to the figure at the center. Dana stood tall, posture relaxed but alert. Her Black Earth Confederation uniform bore the same crimson rank bar. No medals, no flourish, just the weight of consequence. Emperor Zarkthal emerged from behind a screen of holographic flame. He made his way to the central dais and raised a skeletal hand. "The human has passed the 3 trials," he said, voice echoing through the chamber like a drumbeat. "She has displayed dominance of mind, strategy, and combat. Earth is no longer a fringe polity." Whispers stirred among the council. One delegate, Lord Vesh of the CRYX Dominion, leaned forward. "A single warrior proves nothing. Humanity's history is chaotic, undisciplined. She is an outlier." Dana spoke without waiting to be addressed. "You mistake chaos for creativity. Undisciplined? No, we are adaptive, and that's why you fear us." The CRYX Lord hissed. "You speak of fear?" "I do," Dana said, "because deep down, you all know it. You've fought empires with fleets, armies, titans, but you've never fought a species that gets stronger the more you push it to the edge." She stepped forward. "Earth isn't asking for permission. We're not begging to join your fold. We're offering something you can't afford to ignore: partnership or resistance." A ripple of discomfort passed through the council. Zarkthal observed it all silently. Then he turned to Dana. "You have made a spectacle," he said. "But this court requires more than spectacle. It demands vision." Dana's eyes locked on his. "Then here's mine. Earth will not be a servant to this empire. We will not yield our resources or our independence. But we will trade, negotiate, share knowledge on equal footing." She took another step. "And if you refuse that, you'll face more humans like me. Maybe not generals. Maybe farmers, engineers, pilots. Doesn't matter. We fight with everything we have, because we always have." Zarkthal's neural filaments shifted like wind-blown threads. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he raised his arm. From behind the dais, a mechanized scribe floated forward and projected a glowing sigil into the air, the Treaty of Sovereign Recognition. The Emperor placed his hand upon it. Earth Confederation is now recognized as an independent power by the Galactic Empire. 1 seat in the Outer Rim Council. 1 voice in trade negotiations. 1 vote in emergency decisions. Gasps followed, some in outrage, some in awe. Dana nodded once. "We accept," the CRYX delegate snarled. She struck a general. "You reward violence." Zarkthal's voice was razor-sharp. "I reward consequence. And you forget." He struck first. The chamber fell into silence. Zarkthal turned back to Dana. "There will be trials ahead. Enemies in shadow. Some will see your rise as a threat." Dana's tone never wavered. "Let them come." The council was dismissed. Delegates filed out in murmuring clusters. Dana remained a moment longer, alone in the chamber, absorbing what had just occurred. A presence approached, quiet, controlled. It was an envoy. Young, reptilian, eyes sharp. "You just made history," he said. "But history is hungry. It will ask for more." Dana looked at the now vacant thrones. "Let it. Earth didn't come here to survive." She turned toward the corridor, her voice like steel wrapped in velvet. "We came to lead." Outside the citadel, as Varkalon's dying sun bled across the skyline, the first official envoy from Earth departed for orbit. In the hearts of 1,000 species, the legend was already forming. A general struck a human. 3 seconds later, he was begging for mercy. But what followed, what came after those 3 seconds, was far more dangerous. Respect.